Hello and welcome. This is MetalFish T10 case. This is a 5 liters case, meaning it can take only an ITX motherboard and a flex power supply. With a coupon, I was able to purchase this at 55 Canadian dollars, which is a fair price for what you get. That is, of course, if you get your stuff intact. I will make this clear. This is not the first time I've received my order broken from AliExpress, so I wasn't too surprised. And to be fair, the box had decent protection. It looks like something extra heavy was on top of it. Either way, I decided to review after repairing it. The case will be dented here and there, but its overall performance should not be affected. So, I figured why not. I ended up using a rubber hammer and managed to break off one of the motherboard standoffs, but it should be usable at this point. I have to mention this. The USB 3 cable length is just right, meaning you won't have much, if any, excess cables to hide. Not every manufacturer does this. In fact, only few does. I am using a Ryzen 7600X for this. Zen 4 and 5 don't handle too well being in a small form factor case, however. This is due to their higher than normal idle power consumption. Regardless, Ryzen is more popular than Intel now, so that's why I am going with this. And this case does allow a single slot half height card. This also means that the maximum allowed height is that of a 2U, meaning 69mm. Thus, I am using ID cooling IS67. I am using the best cooler possible. Now, I am unsure why they chose to allow just a single slot half height card, because that choice prevents most of low profile GPUs. Your choice would be RX 6400. You might as well use Ryzen 8000 series at that point. In other words, this case is not meant to be a decent gaming rig of any sort. All done. It's time to boot up and do a simple CPU stress test. I forgot to mention this, but this case does not have a power light. This could be either pro or con. If you are building a discrete HTPC, this will be good, because those lights are often annoyingly bright. My expectation wasn't high, but it did a bit worse than I hoped for. All core turbo speed eventually stabilized at 5.05 GHz. Under ideal conditions, it's 5.2 GHz. The TJ Max was set at maximum, which is 95 degrees Celsius. For a case where its CPU cooler is able to draw outside air in directly, it didn't do as good as I hoped it would. However, I don't personally see a big issue here, since maxing out the CPU rarely occurs during casual computing. In my book, you should use an Intel system here. Something like i3-12100 would be perfect for this. In conclusion, MetalFish T10 is kinda meh. With just a single slot half height PCI, you cannot install low profile 5060 GPU. Essentially, that limitation relegates the case to non-gaming. In that case, perhaps they should have omitted the flex power supply slot as well, to make it significantly smaller. At 5 liters, there are cases where it can take full height GPU. If it did well with CPU, I wouldn't say this. If my memories are correct, it did about the same with those 5-liter cases with GPU capabilities. In such a case, I have to wonder why I want this case for. It does look nice and sleek and should do its job fine as a HTPC or all NVMe network storage server. I mention server due to its lack of power light, because I don't like servers having bright power lights. In the end, I would pass this. This case sits in a weird position where it could have been much better, but ends up being mediocre in all areas. It can't have a proper GPU. It's large enough and it doesn't perform good enough. Perhaps being crushed has something to do with its performance, but I doubt that. Thank you for watching and see you next time.